Hi there, my name's Rob and I'll be your virtual mountain guide for today. We're going to be exploring 3 different mountains: Snowdon in Wales, Scafell Pike in England, and Ben Nevis in Scotland. These mountains are often called the 3 Peaks, and every year thousands of avid explorers race to climb them all in under 24 hours. So, throughout the course of this video, we're going to do our own virtual 3 Peaks challenge. So first of all, I want you to find a nice comfy place to sit, and plug in some headphones if you have them. Feel free to pause the video while you get this sorted. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, all set? Good. It's an early start, so get yourselves out of bed and have a nice big stretch. Next, we're going to make a big bowl of porridge to give us plenty of energy for the day ahead. Okay, now it's time to pack our rucksacks with a few hiking essentials. First of all, some water. Very important to stay hydrated. Next, we need some snacks. Cereal bars or nuts are a good idea. And finally, some basic emergency supplies. A whistle and torch to attract attention, a compass to find our way, a space blanket in case we need to keep warm, and a simple first aid kit. Now that we're all packed and ready to go, let's head to Snowdon. Right, here we are at the base. We will be walking up the Miners' Track, which starts out quite easy but gets very steep towards the end. This track was originally built for copper miners to access the mountain. Every day they would hike up here with their pickaxes and use sleds to transport the copper ore back down. Do you think you could carry a heavy pickaxe up the Miners' Track? As you walk, imagine what sights and sounds you can see and hear. Does the gravel crunch beneath your boots? Is the sun warm on your back? Maybe some birds of prey are soaring high in the sky, their cries echoing through the valley. Listen, that's the call of a red kite. These magnificent birds can be seen over the mountain lowlands, searching for scraps of food or rabbits to prey on. Think about what it would be like to be a bird, with huge wings to take you anywhere you wanted. Imagine that feeling of weightlessness, the air rustling through your feathers. Or how amazing your sight would be, spotting a tiny mouse in the grass far below. As we climb higher, we reach the halfway point. It's time to take a break. Let's sit down next to this mountain stream, bubbling up from the rocks. Take your boots off and dip your feet in, enjoying the cool water washing over your feet. Does it tickle? Or make your toes go numb? Mountain streams like this one are very important for farmers down in the lowlands, who rely on this water source to grow crops, which you buy from the supermarket. Okay, time to carry on. As we near the summit, the air gets colder. Feel the wind against your skin. Does it give you goosebumps? It's very steep now, and we have to scramble over the rocks. How does the rough surface feel on your hands? Is it cold to the touch, or has it been warming in the sun all day? Millions of years ago, these rocks were actually underwater, at the bottom of the ocean. Scientists have found fossils of sea creatures preserved in this hard rock. Mountains are often formed when huge plates of the Earth's crust crash together, forcing rock high up into the air and creating incredible formations like Snowdon. Finally, we reach the peak. Well done! And what a beautiful view! The air is clear, and you can see for miles across the rocky landscape. This is the Snowdonia National Park, and it's a very important part of Wales. Snowdonia is home to many rare species of plant, such as the Snowdon lily, which is found nowhere else in the UK. It's usually very windy at the top of mountains. Listen as the air rushes past your ears, the cold biting at your skin. Snowdon's peak is 1,085 metres above sea level. Look down to see how far you've come. You might be able to see someone just starting their ascent. From here, they're no bigger than a thumbnail. As lovely as the view is, we've got to get moving. There's 2 other mountains yet to climb. Next stop, Scafell Pike. Scafell Pike is the smallest of the 3 peaks, but at a height of 978 metres, it's still the tallest mountain in England. However, this was not confirmed until the early 1800s. Due to its unique geography, Scafell Pike actually looks smaller than its neighbouring peak. The first part of the climb is relatively simple. We follow a stream all the way up the valley, walking on a stone staircase. Again, think about the sounds your boots make. A steady trip-trap as you work your way up the brown tongue path, the stream gurgling its way down through the rocks beside you. As you near the top of this staircase, imagine how your legs might feel. Achy muscles and sore knees. Shall we stop and have a snack? Take a seat on the grass next to the path, taking care to avoid sheep poo. Farmers graze their sheep all across the mountainside, and the animals become very good at balancing on the steep slopes and slippery rocks. As the sheep live out here all year round, they have thick woolly coats to protect them from icy winds. How many coats do you think you'd need to keep warm? Every summer, the sheep have these thick coats shaved off so they don't get too hot. The farmer and his sheepdog spend all day herding around 500 sheep across this difficult landscape and down to the farm at the bottom of the mountain. How many sheep do you think you could round up? Looking back down the stone staircase, you'll have a great view of Wast Water, the deepest lake in the Lake District. Imagine how the sun glitters across the surface of the deep blue water. It's 74 metres down to the bottom. That's about 12 houses all stacked on top of each other. Time to carry on. The next section is pretty tough. As you reach the top of the stone staircase, you come over a ridge and get blasted by the strong winds sweeping across the mountain landscape. The wind whistles past you, tugging at your clothes and putting you off balance. Hold on to your hats. The terrain here is much more jagged and steep. At some points you'll have to go onto all fours to clamber up the rock, but thankfully it's not too far from the top. Once you reach the summit, the wind gets even stronger. There's no trees to slow it down. You'll have to be sure of your footing. Any slips and you could get blown over the edge. But the view is incredible. Mountains in every direction, and on a clear day you can see all the way back to Snowdon. But we're not done yet. The final mountain still needs to be climbed, and it's the tallest of the 3. So let's head up to Scotland, home of Ben Nevis. We start in Fort William, a small town at the base of the mountain. The first section, similar to Scafell Pike, is a stone staircase. However, at some points there are loose rocks, so be sure to watch your footing. Sometimes it can be very cool during this section, with the huge mountain blocking out the sun. This means lots of ferns and other shade-loving plants grow here. Feel them brush past you as you climb further up the steps. Some of the leaves can be quite tickly. At the top of the stone steps, the ground levels out. and nestled among the peaks is a loch. That's Scottish for lake. This is around the halfway point, a perfect time to take a break. As you look further up the mountain, you may be able to see patches of snow nearer the top. Snow on Ben Nevis usually lasts all the way through summer, as it never gets warm enough to melt near the top. This is because the air gets thinner the higher you go, so less warmth from the sun can transfer onto the ground. Right, time to carry on. The next section can be very loose underfoot. The path is a series of zigzags cut into the rock. It was originally built for ponies to carry equipment up to the peak. I'll tell you more about that when we get there. As you make your way to and fro across the face of the mountain, look out across the landscape. Ben Nevis is found in the Grampian mountain range, which extends over almost half of Scotland. Once you've finished zigging and zagging, you're nearly at the top. The walk from here is less steep, and soon, over the horizon, the remains of the observatory will come into view. This was built in 1883, and constantly manned by scientists, taking daily weather readings to learn about mountain climates. That's why they had to make a pony track. Those poor animals had to carry all sorts of building materials and weather equipment up to the top. The observatory was originally much larger, but after it was abandoned in 1904, a fire destroyed part of the building. This is all that's left. You can take refuge inside the tiny stone structure. The wind is almost always blowing up here. Imagine what it must have been like to live up here for months on end. Some days the scientists were trapped inside as the whole building disappeared under huge snowdrifts. Okay, let's battle the wind as we go and explore. Be careful as you make your way across the flat peak. Snow can hide dangerous ravines and steep drops. How does this snow sound under your boots? Is it crunchy or soft? Can you make snowballs or a snow angel? The reason it's so flat at the top is because thousands of years ago Ben Nevis was a volcano. There was a massive eruption and it collapsed in on itself, forming the mountain we know today. Well, we've made it. The highest point in the UK, 1,345 metres above sea level. Take the time to breathe deeply, enjoying the cool, crisp mountain air, and give yourself a pat on the back. You've climbed 3 mountains today. Well done. I think it's time to head home and have a rest. You've earned it. Well, wasn't that fantastic? I think we set a new record for climbing those mountains so quickly. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Creative Play with Ditto. I hope you've had a great time and learnt some interesting facts. Who knows, maybe one day you'll do the 3 Peaks Challenge for real. But remember, mountain climbing is serious stuff, so make sure you plan ahead and stay safe. Bye guys.